Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to this podcast. And today I'm thrilled to have Soni Singh. She's a NLP coach and an author, and she has a wealth of knowledge and experiences that is she's going to share with us today. And let's welcome Soni Singh. Hello, Soni Singh. Welcome to this podcast. And we are so grateful to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And from there,
Yeah.
we can start.
Thank you so much, Vimal, for having me here today. And yes, it's a great today that we are doing something very beautiful, productive. And yes, I'm really happy to have this particular on having this on Saturday. So, about me, let me start. I'm coming from a humble background. My father was in army and my mother was housewife. After my, college and primary education and everything, I stepped into colleges and I stayed alone in Delhi NCR for my college. And along with that, I was also, teaching students. So from my teaching, I was earning and then I was paying my fees. So I believe after 12th, I took charge of my finances. So this is how I started and I completed my graduation, started working in MNCs. So I have in total like 14 years of experience with MNCs. I was primarily into intellectual property rights. And I was, since I didn't do any law degree, but I was into a field wherein legal things were required. So mostly I was into role of team managers. I was managing team, I was handling operations. These were the primary things. And Vimal, therein, I realized I'm very comfortable in talking to people. People are very comfortable in approaching me for their general queries or maybe something personal, professional. They used to reach out to me and discuss with me. And my advices really helped them a lot. So from there, I got an insight, I'm somewhere very connected to people. I'm a people person. And yes, definitely, if there is something I can help them to do and change their life, so I should do. So that was the inner calling which I got in my 14 years of career. And then gradually I got some, cope up with our life situations, real life situations. And that is there, actual experience comes. So this is how NLP come into my life, and then I started helping others to come out of their problems, their challenges, and live a life smooth life.
Okay, so many people are coming in this show with NLP as a tool they are using for giving transformation to the people. So, from your perspective, what is NLP and how this can be used as a helpful tool for giving transformation to the people? So, what's your take on that?
If I talk technically, many people who are listening to us, they will not understand. So in broad, normal and definition, it's neuro-linguistic programming. If I break it down for a layman language, it's all about, understanding brain's language, how your brain communicate to us, and that language, to understand that language and process and apply our response and reaction behavior as per that is what an NLP is. And yes, NLP can transform anyone's life, because once you understand what our brain is telling us, you will be able to give more clarity and direction to yourself. What exactly you want in life, you will be able to manifest things. You will be able to walk on the right path, which actually you were, dreaming from long, long years. So this is how NLP can help you.
Okay, is there any particular age is needed? Like anyone can benefit with this NLP at the same time, or kids or adults? So, do we have any age range in which this
No.
NLP can? No, okay. So, anyone
Yes.
can start right away. Like if it is a older person, like above 70 years of old or less than 10 years of old, everyone can easily benefit from that NLP, which is great.
That
So, how this?
everyone.
Okay. So how this approach is, different from different people. So let's say one person comes to us, and what is the start? So how this process actually works? Is there any step-by-step process for that, or so how can you just tell me a little bit about that from your experience?
Sure, sure. If anyone is coming to me, as a coach, there is a very important skill to observe that person and give them space to open up. People are coming here with lots of burden, lots of pressure. They are feeling unsafe to share something from your heart, from their mind. So they are carrying lots of baggage inside their heart and mind. So the first thing is to give them space to open up, observe them, and our body is capable enough to heal ourselves. We have to just give them that clarity, you are capable enough to the right direction, asking them 90% in the surrender mode, and then they can, easily transform with the help of NLP techniques.
Okay. When you talk about the clarity, right? So does this person know about I have this particular problem? Is that something that he think that this is my problem, but it's not actually that is their problem? So that kind of things you are trying to understand from this, the opening up and creating session with that person, right? In your case, so the people are coming to you. Do they really know what their problem is?
So when people reach to us, as a coach, they are actually not aware of the real problems. They mostly, cater symptoms as a problem. They are coming with some symptoms. For example, they have procrastination or they are not doing this. They only address symptoms as the problems. So we have to understand properly, why it is coming, from where it is coming, how they feel this is the problem, and what they are losing if they are not working on it. So by asking right questions, we are able to get deep into the main root cause, because they are not aware of the root causes from where that is coming. Maybe it's some problems. Some problems they are carrying since 2-3 years. Some people we have seen they are carrying from 8 to 10 years. Someone has childhood traumas, and because there is some misconception they have created, there is some conditioning of their childhood, upbringing level, from where they are carrying all these in their aspects. So definitely they are not aware of their problem. They just consider their symptoms as the problem.
Okay, so interesting. So NLP can solve the mental problems or the so what are the other problems can is there any physical problem if a person has? So can this be solved using NLP?
Yes, of course. NLP can heal any kind of problem, be it a mental problem, be it a physical problem. And definitely, in some of the cases, you need some kind of medications also. Along with that, the immunity, the mindset that you need, because medicines, what they are doing, medicines are using our body resources to heal us. Medicines are not working on root cause, they are only working on symptoms. So definitely, once the symptom is gone, there is 100% guarantee the problem will come back again. NLP works on root cause, medicines works on symptoms. So with the coordination, there are certain cases wherein you need the medication as well. We don't recommend don't go away. Definitely there is a chances to consult a doctor. But yes, 95% of the cases, the physical problems are also being taken care by NLP techniques, because it's our body which heals first. Let me give you a simple example. If you get a normal cut on your hand, would you go to a doctor for the stitches? No, your body is capable enough to heal that small cut, right? So every bigger problem is bigger from here. And our body is so smart, so brilliantly created by God that it can heal anything. Medicines are given to boost up that process, to boost up your immune. Medicines don't heal you properly. So if you want to get 100% cure of any problem, definitely NLP is the best thing.
Okay, when we get any wound in our hand, so why it is not heal itself? Is there anything that we are unaware, like ourself is stopping that? Can you just elaborate on that? Because it's I really amazed by this concept. Like if we have anything and it's not healing itself because unconsciously we are stopping that, right? Is that what you're telling?
So let me explain you why I said that. Because since childhood, we have seen that when we start to walk, we fall a number of times. We fell down, right? And when we fell down, we got some small stitches, small, cuts and damages in our body. Do we go to immediately? No, right?
No,
Because
no.
we know our body is capable to heal ourselves. So by saying this, what I mean is, sometimes what happens, sufferings are more, suffering is definitely there. Pain is definitely there. Above the pain, people suffer from the thoughts they are creating around it.
Okay.
You got pain will be there. The body way to communicate is through pain. Body is telling you that there is some problem here. You have to take care of it. For example, you got a cut and you're not looking at it. You are, using this hand randomly everywhere. Maybe there are chances that the cut will increase. So, by your body is giving you a signal, you have to take care of this part. Be protective. Take care so that this damage is not, going to increase. So that is why pain is there. But what we do is we increase this pain by giving the sufferings. Why is it happened to me? I never do anything wrong to anyone. Why this always happens to me? Why I'm getting this cut? Oh, this is paining a lot. So what we are doing, we are creating sufferings around this pain. And by creating this suffering, we are using our energy resources of our own body. So the resources that can be used to heal this are now distributed in many things. Now it's taking care of your thoughts as well, taking care of your sufferings as well. Hence, this healing time increased. So the small wound, which can be healed in 2 days or 3 days, takes at least, 1 week to heal up, because we are adding that pain along with sufferings. So we are utilizing the resources to different levels. You're getting my point? So this is how, we increase our pain by adding sufferings to it.
Right. So yeah, I understood most of the part. Like, so our body has its own way of healing things, but we are diverting that power by creating some our own sufferings or different thoughts. The body is actually trying to spend so much of, instead of doing the healing, it spend a lot of energy or a lot of time to process these thoughts, and yeah, because of that, the healing is not happening fastly.
In the right time.
Okay. Yeah. So now, so you're saying that every problem, it's not only physical, it has associated some mental connection too. Right? So that's a,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's a big, takeaway for me from this talk. So what about the anxiety? Nowadays, the people has a problem of, like, there are many jobs are getting, many companies are laying off people. And most of my friends, they are in a constant anxiety, like, so what happened to me if I lose my job? I have a lot of EMIs, I need to take care of my kids. And yeah, so how can NLP help them to come out of it? So what is how NLP can help them?
Okay. So this is very, genuine question to ask in this platform, because I really want people to understand, why this anxiety is coming to them. And science has proven that people who are getting more anxious are the more creative in their life. So when your creative part is at, brain has two parts, left and right. So the creative part, when it reaches its peak, those people are more prone to anxiety. Because what is anxiety? That they are creating uncertain fear with themselves. So fear is something which is very thing, which is inbuilt in our body. But those people who are, prone to anxiety, they're very creative in terms of thinking a lot. So they always go into chain of what if thinking. What if this will happen? Then, if this will happen, this will happen. If this will happen, I'll feel bad. If I'll feel bad, they will talk about me. If they will talk about me, they will judge about me. So they keep on creating a chain of thoughts which is entirely negative. So what do
Mhm.
you need to understand here? Resourceful. So when you are getting the first single thought of what if this will happen, then, think about, what all resources are open to me if this goes this wrong way. For example, you have a train to catch and you are anxious about, missing that train. So you have to think about all the possible options. What if, I reach this station 30 minutes ahead? What if, if my cab is cancelled, can I, hire a taxi? Can I hire an auto? Can I, talk to some of my friends who are, residing nearby me, who can drop me there? So be resourceful in that situation. Find out the alternate option to do that. Once you are able to use an analytical brain in this way, definitely you will decrease the anxiety levels. Why this is coming so frequently nowadays? Because we are living in a world, digital world, where everything is available in just a click of a button. Right? Patience has decreased. People are fascinated with moving things. They are not, fixed with one particular things. They are not happy with one thing. Every day they are looking for a new happiness. Initially, we were taught about, delayed gratification. Now the fact is instant gratification. People are instantly looking for, good results and happiness. And once we have achieved it, it stays for small period of time because the contentment is not there. So all these things are leading to their anxious behavior. I hope I'm able to answer you.
See, you define anxiety in a very profound way. We are creating chain of thoughts regarding possibility of negative outcome. So that's why we are so much in our projection, like in a future projection, we are thinking that negative things will happen, right? So that's why we are so much worried about. So that's actually the anxiety. So there will be positive outcome that might occur, and there will be negative outcome that might occur, but there are certain probabilities for each of these outcomes. Since
Absolutely.
we are projecting, like we are certain about, yeah, so if this has happened and this will happen and this will, we are trying to lean more towards the negative outcomes. Yeah, so that's how these anxieties happen. And you said the second point is nowadays the people are focused on getting, instant gratification. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's also one problem that the people is having. So is there any relation between this instant gratification and this social media? They are scrolling through the social media for getting something, and they will immediately gratify by saying some content, reels or something. So is this how is this shift happen because of the social media, or is this a natural process of a brain to more prone to this anxiety?
So this is not a natural process. Definitely, it has taken period of time to grow up.
Mm,
So what has happened? People, because of this, just click of you are getting everything on a click of a button. So
okay.
instantly, there is no patience level. Initial,
Mm,
you are waiting so long for everything, and then that thing comes. It's the happiness stays for some time. Now, since the happiness is very quick, if you want to laugh, you can scroll a reel and you can laugh. Right. If you want to change your mood, you can just go and watch some documentary, watch some movie. Everything is available on just click of a button. So yes, patience level has decreased a lot because people that don't have patience now. That is why, they are looking for the things in very, very fast. As you're talking about reels, yeah, you nowadays how they are giving. You can only attract a person to stay on the reel of, 1 minute if your 3 seconds is very catchy. Can you imagine the fraction of patience level? 3 seconds. If 3 seconds you are able to stop them, then only there is a probability that they will watch that 1 minute reel. How the mind has been captured, and because of this, you are giving so much information to your brain, so much of the diversification to your brain, that processing time has increased a lot. And just imagine, if you are on a piece of a computer, on your laptop, if you open multiple applications on one go, what will happen? It will hang, right? Then you have
mhm.
to stop, wait it to respond. You have to refresh it. But are we refreshing our mind? No. We are constantly giving it so much of feed and food, right? And that is too much unhygienic. Are we, consuming everything which is productive and useful or healthy for us? No. There is a mixture of everything. And we are getting happiness from unhealthy products rather than healthy products. So a combination of all this, which is coming from social media, is definitely hampering our patience level and also creating a boost in our anxiety levels. People are so anxious looking at others, status. Though they know it's not real, it's fake. It is one instant that they went out somewhere and then they click number of pictures and they are sharing it on daily basis. Everybody knows about it. But since still they are, comparison. They are doing comparison with others. They are doing so much. They have though this much thing. The gratitude part is missing. The gratefulness part is missing. So what we are giving to ourselves? We are giving ourselves self-doubt, low confidence. We are not worthy. Am I capable of? You are doubting yourself in number of ways. You are everywhere. You're comparing people with others, and then doubting yourself. What it will lead? Definitely, it will lead to something which could be a part of anxiety as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely resonate with the patient. I mean, the patient's level has been getting down for the people right now. Maybe because of the social media or because of the fast-paced world or because of different digital platform, right? I completely resonate with that. Is this the level of patience lowered because of the, is that because of the self-doubt and the self-confidence, and is there any relation between these?
Definitely, there is a relation between these because patience level has decreased because first is comparison. We are comparing our things, our status, our lifestyle with others, and we are not looking behind how much effort that person has put into to get to that level. We are comparing our level to a person who has been doing that particular thing for 20 years maybe. Now you are comparing that, right? And why we are able to compare? Because we are able to see that through the social media on regular basis. by their updates, by their, photos, status, what their contents, everything. We are seeing it, we are absorbing it, somebody is doing good, but we are not looking at the back effort that they have given. Right? So what we are able to see it, in just and nowadays, definitely it is possible. We are able to see transformation of many people within 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Initially, it was not possible. Remember, when anyone has to grow their business, they have to go to door to do some selling. Nowadays, with the help of the digital world, definitely this process has become easified. Getting my point? So definitely there is own with this process, with having this digital world, but again at the same time we have been as well. So it is very important that whatever is given in your plate, what you are going to consume. It's not required to consume everything. Pick the things which suits your health and then consume it. So that is what I advise to everyone.
Okay. So one question regarding the confidence level. So nowadays the children are losing their confidence. Maybe some of the employees or normal people, they are losing their confidence. So let's say if they want to talk in front of some people, they are immediately started coming the self-doubt themselves, and they were not able to proceed from what they are looking to do. Like if in case of doing a presentation in front of the people, so if it is a children to talk into some topics, right? So these kind of things they were not able to do. That's how we can tackle this problem. So is there any particular methods in NLP so that they can use that, or how can deal with this?
So it can be easily addressed while you're in parenting only. So first thing is, nowadays the generation, the kids are very smart, and this percentage of self-doubt and low confidence is very low in kids. And at this level, if we are able to give them a very good upbringing, very good, environment to grow and explore, very good environment to, do mistakes, that is also very important. Because as much mistakes they will do under the umbrella of their parents, they will learn and grow in a better human being, as a better human being. So it's very important to understand parents, rather than going for a technique is the end solution. That, you don't have anything now, nothing is in your control. Now you need someone else expertise to take care of your child. That is the end point. But before that, it can be handled carefully under the umbrella of parenthood. And I will urge every parent, if you are listening this, allow your kids to commit mistakes, because every mistake will help them to become a better person. Allow them to learn from the mistakes and help them understand not to repeat that mistake. Then only they will evolve. Otherwise, allowing them to do mistake and not learning from it will not help them to grow in a better way. They will become stagnant, and they will feel that, my parents are not much bothered about what I'm going to do. They're okay with it. So you have to make them realize it's not okay to commit same mistakes again and again. That is what I will say. Because I have seen parents, when they see other kids growing, so they start comparing and they scold their kids by comparison only. So I want to ask them, have you given them enough space to explore their, interest areas? At the young age only, by the age of 5, kids' brain is developed. By the age of 7, their brain is stimulus to, emotions and everything. And as they grow, they see their parents, how they are bound together with each other, how their communication is, level of communication they are doing, and what is the kind of environment I am living into. That by 10 or 13, they are able to sense all those things. Even the parents are not in good bond, they are able to sense that. So it is very important, whatever you are doing, it should be in the front of kids. Even though you fight, it's highly recommended not to fight in front of kids. Even though you fight, do and, come back to a situation of agreement also in the front of kids. If you are angry, you have to come back in a normal situation in the front of kids. Then only they will understand getting angry is okay, but most important is you have to come back to the normalcy. That is important. Because as a human beings, definitely there are certain points in life when you are out of your emotions and you are responding rather than reacting. Right? But
Yes.
in most of the situation, you will feel that you're always reacting first, then responding. And when you reflect that, I could have responded well, you go into guilt trip. Similarly, it happens with kids. When they are seeing anything, it's okay. Their mind will, start interrupting something bad has happened. But how their parents has converted that bad thing into a normalcy and good thing, that is what they will learn. Getting my point? So this is how, NLP is the end point. But first is, giving the safe umbrella to commit mistakes.
So it seems like the parent also needs some training. The parenting itself is a skill. So do we have any NLP techniques that enable people to be a good parent?
So NLP technique is to, groom every person as a good human being. It's not
Okay.
only about parenting. Parenting is about, two people living together with a mutual understanding and giving birth to a family, holding a family and living like the ways we have two wheels of a car, two wheels of a bicycle. Similarly, two peoples are coming together and riding a bicycle. It's all about it. So NLP is definitely a part wherein you can enhance yourself. You can work on yourself, but you cannot help other people or you force other people to behave like me. It's something like, you are the top, you are topping the chart every time, and you are expecting others to also behave like you. It's like you are working hard a lot and you are expecting others to work like me. You cannot do that. NLP can definitely help you to become a better person. And yes, by that, once you are a better person, you can inspire others to become better. Right? If somebody is angry on me, shouting badly on me, if I will not respond, be silent and listen to them, is there not a possibility that they will lower down gradually? Right. They will slowly, their anger will slowly depress. Anger will slowly, depreciate. But what if somebody is shouting on me and I shout back? Their
Yeah.
anger will raise. So focus on, improving yourself first and then become the inspiration for the other to improve by self. This is how parenting can be groomed in the home.
Okay. Yeah. So that's I truly agree with you because first we have to be a better person in order to
Absolutely.
judge others, right? So can you tell me
Yeah.
what is a
We
yeah?
cannot judge anyone. We should not be judging anyone because how someone is behaving is completely based on their upbringing and conditioning. So we
Mhm.
cannot judge anyone.
Okay. Right. So what is the biggest transformation that you have ever given to your clients? Can you just tell me about that?
Yeah, definitely. So there was a client who had lots of childhood traumas. She has seen multiple things like, suicides, somebody suiciding in her family. And since 5 years, when she was 5 years old, she was sent to somebody else's house, maybe their uncle's house, because the school was not near to their village location. So at the age of 5, she was sent to the boarding. So this is how it all happened. And she had lots of trauma holding in her heart. And the only thing she learned in her life that I have to study good and score good so that, my kids will be able to have to be in a good school and I can live near in some, city place so that I can take care of them. That was the only goal of her life. So, when she came to me, I helped her. I healed her past traumas and then I gave her the direction what you lost in that process and then work on those things. Then she was feeling, she felt she get her confidence back. Although she was gold medalist, even though she was so much scared, she was getting panic attack. She had lots of traumas. So with those all, healing and giving her the protective environment, she was able to come up as a beautiful person. And now she's living her happy life. She's married now and she has one daughter as well. So she completely transformed. No more panic attacks. She laughs, she plays, she is doing her life very well.
All right. So that's very impressive. So when you undertake the NLP coaching, how much time will it take? Is it can we achieve something in 1 week or it's a 1 month? So what is the duration or how long we need to continue this?
So there are multiple techniques based on every, emotion or maybe situation of your life. So NLP is not only about, learning something. It is also important to implement on yourself. Until unless you are implementing on yourself or you are seeing the results, you cannot convince or, pass it on to anybody else. For example, for me, when I started to learn NLP, I implemented many techniques for myself. I had migraine issue. I had severe migraine issue, and I applied few techniques on it. It's been 1.5 years. I have not gone single day headache. So that much effective. So when I applied on myself, I got the clarity, I got the results. Now my confidence is skyrocketing that, this works. And if it has helped me, it can help anyone. So it's not about, how long the duration you work. Maybe you are learning it for 2 years, but you're not applying to yourself. You will not feel confidence about your product. So it is very important, apply to yourself first.
Okay. Nowadays, the people is having a lot of stress. Have you got any kind of experience like your client has too much stressed out and it successfully comes out that? Do you have any that kind of experience?
Yes, definitely. We have lots of experience wherein people were stressed out and they were very anxious in their life, but gradually they understood the root cause of why the stress is coming on. And once we catered that root cause, the anxiousness, stress, everything was gone. So the main reason of getting the stress are unanswered threats or, unanswered thoughts which come to your mind and you don't address it, you ignore it. Then the stress comes. So this is how we help them to understand. And yes, there are lots of stories wherein people have come out, worked on their stress levels, and then they are enjoying their life and routine.
Okay. So the stress is happening because there is a unaddressed thought, right? So how to
So anything. Yes, please go ahead.
yeah. So how this can be addressed? Can you just little bit elaborate on that? Because the unaddressed thought that is causing stress. So do you have any example or something you can
Yes, let me give you an example. For example, there is a child who has an examination, any paper, or after 2 days, and he has not thoroughly studied so far.
Okay.
What do you think? Will that child will feel stress or not?
Yes, definitely, yes.
And why the stress is coming? Because he is not well prepared for the examination. So this is a kind of a fear, natural fear. Your body is triggering you, giving you some indications. So what we have to do, what we have to address here, address our fear that we have not prepared. And what you can do now, you have 2 days, sit and prepare as much you can. So what this we are trying to help them that your body is giving you some symptoms, some triggers, some fears that there is something which is actually going to happen if you will not utilize these 2 days properly. So this is a very normal phenomena. Our body speaks in this language because whatever we are thinking is going to happen. If you will not prepare, you may get wrong, poor number, or you may get fail. So there is a possibility of happening something, whatever you are thinking. That is why you are stressed. So sometimes this stress is our friend as well. In this situation, this stress is helping this child to sit and focus on studies. So it's good. And there is another situation where there is another child who has studied well, completed all the syllabus. Still for 2 days, he is fearing and getting under stress. What if the question will come out of syllabus? What if I'll not score well? What if this girl, my friend of mine, will score as usual higher than me? So what this necessary imaginary stress to the body. So what will happen in this situation? Because although she knows she has prepared well, she is stressed. This will impact her performance. And maybe with underconfidence, she may commit mistake. So this is how I help them to understand the stress and what exactly the meaning body is trying to tell you out of it. Understand and act accordingly.
Got you. That's very helpful, and it's now crystal clear. So
Great.
from your bio, I think you have done a TEDx talk. Can you just talk about that experience a little bit?
Sure. So my first topic of TEDx talk was financial independence of women. And I really, I'm a big supporter of, big advocate of women's getting independent. Because till now in India, and maybe in outside also, females are, in very complacent situation. I have seen many females, I've interviewed many women who are very complacent with having their husband a good income. But they have never, what if I have some income, how much power the husband will feel? Nowadays, since female is not working, only the male is working in the house. For example, if there is a situation whereas woman is not working, only male is working in the house, you have just one income source. So can you understand how much pressure that man has, right? He cannot take leave, unnecessary leave. He cannot chill and relax like you. So just understand, how much courage and how much support he will get if the woman is also working. If you have a two source of income at your home, what kind of power that man will feel and how pride and respect he will give to you. So in that perspective, always stand for your finances. Don't, beg for anything, not even a single thing, be it a 10 rupee thing. You should be capable enough to take care of your finances, because this is not only giving you identity, not only boosting your confidence, rather it's giving you to claim your respect and, pride from everyone around you.
Okay, that's awesome. So, have you worked on any woman empowerment, anything like that? Do you have any active participation, any community or
Yeah,
anything?
yes, I have done multiple corporate trainings. And also,
Okay,
I have in the LinkedIn form, I have given 3 speeches so far to different organizations. I won't reveal the company names, but you can see in my profile as well. So yeah, people are reaching out to me. I am able to deliver and transform people. Corporate trainings I have started to deliver. So these are the few events I'm doing now to help
okay,
humanity.
okay. So, you talked about the corporate training, right? So, what are the problems of the, I mean, as employers, what they're seeing? Yeah,
Yeah.
can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, so last training which I gave for virtual captains is, it's like people were morely stressed. They are not able to prioritize. Time management is a big challenge. Procrastination is the another challenge. Comparison with others is a challenge. Not able to scale up on the corporate hierarchy is a challenge. And, effective communication is again a challenge. Confidence, I already speak about. So there are 6 major areas that I usually talk when I deliver any session for the corporate, because people are really struggling to prove themselves. And why this habit of proving themselves is coming? Because of this rat race. Who is winning the
Okay.
chart? Who is on the top? How you have been appreciated, how good you are in to portray yourself in front of others. So all these flavors are giving you so much of stress at workplace that you are not able to perform at your best. So this is how I help them. I help them understand how time management can be done. I help them understand how you can top up the chart and how you can build your confidence. Work on what matters to you first, not to, impress others, rather to evolve you first. That is my key responsibility when I'm addressing any corporate event.
Okay, that's awesome. So, one last thing, you are an author. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'm an author of the book Beyond Balance. In Beyond Balance, I have poured my story out. Also, I wanted to really give a push to the ladies, that it's not about only balancing your house and outside thing. You have to think beyond balancing. That is what my book Tech talks about. Unleashing your true potential beyond this balancing. This balancing act is somehow now hierarchy genetically imbibed in us. What you have to do apart from this beyond balancing is to, scale yourself in such a way, have some skills in your life so that, any circumstance comes in your life, you are able to face it. Understand and learn those skills that you are able to cope up with any kind of situation, and also to help your family, your personality to groom and inspire others. So my book is all about this thing, and I really highly recommend you to go through it whenever you have time. All the viewers who are watching this podcast right now.
Yeah, sure. We definitely give that in the description along with
Sure.
your the contact details. So if people want to reach out to you, so through the Facebook or Instagram or any other social media, we will also provide those details in the description. So because of the restriction of time, we are stopping right now. So
Okay.
thank you so much, Soni ji, for being a part of this podcast and sharing your wonderful insights on lot of things, starting from the NLP, the stress, anxiety. Yeah, there are a
Great
lot
thing
of,
also.
yeah, we'll do one more podcast on next time. So thank you so much. We are so grateful to have you here.
Thank you so much for calling me. I am Hope. I just wish and people are able to get some insight out of it, which they can really implement in their life and become a better version of themselves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you once again.